quarter, Booker was the only guy that was scoring. He was the only guy that was creating. The rest of the team just looked out of sync. So on offense, they got to work on that. Defense, you really got to focus on Middleton. There are times where he looks like a prime Kevin Durant, and there are also times where he looks like, I don't know, like if Jarrett Allen shot a bunch of mid ranges and three. No hit on Jarrett Allen, but if you know what I mean. And so I think locking up Middleton is such a key because then he'll still take a lot of shots, but if they're not falling, then that gives a lot of easy rebounds for Ayton. Speaking of Ayton, he needs to be a little bit more aggressive. There were times where he could have crashed harder for rebounds, didn't quite do that. Could have been more aggressive on defense, guarding Giannis or Lopez, but he wasn't quite there. And I think that's part of it. CP3 was a little frazzled at points, and he wasn't the veteran leader with all the experience. He didn't look like that. He looked like just an okay point guard. So it really all depends on CP3. He is the catalyst for this team. He helped turn this team from a fringe playoff team to a team in the finals. And if he really wants to get that ring, he's just got to show up for Game 6. It really all depends on him.
I mean, he was turning it on in the fourth quarter.
He was.
But the thing is, when the game's on the line, you have that 1 point deficit. You're trying to get that last shot up. What they did was inexcusable. They tried to get that dribble drive penetration again, but when you have to know, you have to have that awareness that, oh, maybe this isn't the time. Maybe I should pass it out at this point because he had three guys converging on him. He had Drew Holiday on his back, but he didn't really realize that, and that was the problem. He has got to have the awareness to be like, oh, there's three guys on me. Someone's got to be open. I need to pass it out. There's no shot I'm going to make this pass. I mean, look at Michael Jordan in the finals. Pass it out to Steve Kerr. Or I don't know if it was the final. It was the finals, right? Passed out to Steve Kerr when he didn't have a shot open because he's not going to be the stupid idiot. He's going to like, oh, I have to win the finals because if I want to win it, it's going to be on my terms. No, give your shot the team the best opportunity to win. You had better opportunities in that situation than you dribble driving and trying to get a layup or mid-range in that situation.
Yeah, who hit the game-winning shot in the finals in 2016? It wasn't LeBron. It was Kyrie Irving. Did it hurt LeBron's legacy at all?
And Ray Allen. Don't forget that one.
Oh, Ray Allen too bailed him out. Did it hurt his legacy? No. So I think Devin Booker, he wanted to be the guy, wanted to be the big man there, but that's not always the case. Can't always do that. But he's still young. He'll definitely learn from this, and he'll be on a team that makes a lot of deep runs. So even if they don't get it this year, he will become a much better player with this experience.
But
so,
I mean, you can't take Miles runs for granted. Look at the Heat last year. Look at Dan Marino. There's guys that you say they're young, they'll get another opportunity. But I mean, getting to a finals is hard. Like LeBron James getting to 10 and Tom Brady getting to 10. I mean, these are things that are not regular occurrences. These are things that are hard to do. Drew Brees got to 1 Super Bowl. Aaron Rodgers has gotten to 1 Super Bowl. I mean, it is hard to get to that level in any sport, to go to a consistent level to make it to the championship, because you have 7 games 4 times. I mean, you have to battle. Like, there is chances that you are going to lose. I mean, even if you were the better team outright, you can still lose any series to any team.
Look what happened to Philly.
Well, you can argue about how good that team is, but
just on a serious note, like you said, this was with a depleted Lakers team. This finals run happened with a depleted Lakers team. Kawhi with a partially torn ACL. Torn ACL. The Nuggets lost Murray and Barton. The West wasn't nearly as strong as it was.
And Pelicans had Stan Van Gundy.
I'm not discrediting the Suns at all because they had their own issues. And the way I see it is they dealt with their adversity the best. And they were still able to rally together and get to the finals. But what I also mean is this is an opportunity. They're in the finals, but LeBron and Anthony Davis? That's hard to stop. Kawhi and playoff P? That's hard to stop. Jokic and Murray? They're still fairly young, 24, 26, I think. They're only getting better. So even the Jazz are making improvements.
And the Mavs, I mean, they've taken that Clippers team to 7 2 years in a row.
2 years in a row, exactly.
And that
So
Clippers team, I would argue, the way Paul George performed, the way that team performed, if they had Kawhi Leonard, I think they would have won that series. And
I think
I think the Suns are well deserving of being in the finals. I think they are well deserving of winning the finals. But the way Paul George was playing, I mean, I'm not making any asterisks. I'm not going to say anything because Suns are winning it, or the Suns are made it to the finals. I mean, they were the best team. They were the healthiest team. They made it to the finals. I mean, there's never an asterisk to any championship, unless there is some horrible freak accident or something that is. If it's a normal season, if there's injuries, that happens. That's basketball. Whoever wins wins.
like has to forfeit.
Exactly.
Like I think that happened once in March Madness.
Oh, like even if you could argue Georgia Tech, they had a team in the ACC tournament. They won it this year, but I wouldn't say there's an asterisk. They didn't play a semifinal game because the team backed out because of COVID. They won the championship because they were the team that was the healthiest. They were the team that didn't get COVID. I mean, even in that situation, it's not an asterisk in my opinion. So, it's completely different tangent.
One game or one round, yeah. But I think the Suns were definitely deserving here. The Bucks, they made it out. They beat the Hawks. They beat the Nets. You can say the Nets weren't healthy, but beating a team with Kevin Durant is always going to be hard.
Man, look at the way he played, man.
Yeah, Kevin Durant, Jesus Christ, best player in the world right now.
No questions about it. I don't care. Giannis is playing. I don't care.
Yeah.
Kevin Durant played like a madman.
But I think that, look, Chris Paul is how old? 35, 36?
Sounds about right.
36. This is not realistically going to happen again.
No.
And if it does happen again, then so be it. But he'll face much stronger teams like a fully healthy Nets or an even better Bucks or an even better Hawks, and definitely not Philly. So I know we've said this multiple times. They just have to come out and play their hearts out. This is Chris Paul's defining game. And a player's legacy, it's built on stats. It's built on all that. But it's also built on big moments. Jordan's shot, LeBron's block, Kobe's 81, Kobe's Game 7 rally against the Celtics.
Those LeBron runs where he was dropping 40 consistently on a night.
The Heat LeBron.
Cavs LeBron before with Ilgauskas and stuff like that, and Mo Williams. Like, that guy was crazy.
D-Wade against the Mavericks. Those are
Dirk against anyone.
Yep, Dirk against anyone. Those are legacy-defining moments. Those are the moments that you're going to remember. Those are the moments that we're going to tell our kids. And if Chris Paul clutches up and plays like just a madman like he has before, that will definitely that elevates him already into the top 5 point guard debate and maybe even the top 3. So this game could just skyrocket his legacy because that's what a big moment like this can do. So as a Chris Paul fan, I'm hoping for the best. I want this series to go to 7. And Giannis is fairly young. He still has a lot of chances. I think Chris Paul deserves this after all the adversity he's gone through.
Now let's actually talk about the games itself. Talk about some more analysis rather than just talking about hypotheticals and legacy and stuff like that. Yeah. In game 1 and 2, the reasons why the Suns were able to win is they didn't get bodied in the paint. I mean, the last few games, they have been bodied in the paint. Let's look at, last game. The Suns had, game 4 is a better example. Game 4, Milwaukee had 17 offensive rebounds compared to Phoenix's 5. I mean, those second chance points really add up. And when you have guys like Giannis in the paint that can finish, and you can have guys you can kick out to like Chris Middleton, who have been playing at a just lights out level. I mean, I know it's going to be really hard to not give Giannis and Finals MVP, but my vote would be for Chris Middleton, because
I think my vote would be for Chris too.
The games they've won have been because of Chris Middleton.
Yeah, Giannis is consistent. Like, you know what you're going to get. But Middleton, when he's on, 29 last game, 40 the game before, and then game 3, how much did he have? He had 18.
And look where those points come from, though, or look when those points come. Chris Middleton last night. I know he didn't have the most points on
Yeah,
the team, but in the fourth quarter, he had like 9 straight points for the Bucks. I mean,
yeah, no. And
he made like
game
four
four
for
is probably
4.
the best example.
I mean, he just goes lights
Game
out at
four in the
times.
fourth quarter, last 2 or 3 minutes, he was the guy taking the shots. He stepped up as their closer. And just another thing that we've talked about, can Middleton be the closer? In these finals, he's been that guy. He's been the go-to guy in the last 4 to 5 minutes of every game. And he's gotten a lot of his points in the clutch, like you said.
Now let's talk a little bit about the other guys on the team. The more importantly, let's talk about Drew Holiday because he has been very on or off throughout this entire finals. Game 4, he was dreadful. 4 of 20. I mean, I follow some New Orleans fan pages and they were loving it. I don't know why they were loving it. I mean, everyone should love Drew Holiday, but 4 of 20. I mean, that is something that's on another level. But then last night, he just went supernova and
Ballistic.
I know he smoked some layups early, but I mean, he was efficient. He was 12 of 20, 3 of 6 from 3. I mean, box plus minus of 14. I mean, he was great. 13 assists, 27 points. I mean, 3 steals, the game-winning steal.
Yeah.
He has been on another level. The role players on this team, Brooke Lopez and Pat Connaughton, kept the Bucks in the game in that first quarter. I mean, they played incredible. I mean, both of them have been great role players.
Bobby Portis.
Has been a menace. I mean,
Yeah, he's been good.
whenever he got that headband, it was just a
Yeah.
different player.
Basically everyone but Jeff Teague.
Yeah. He hit that one game where he hit like 3 threes against the Hawks, and it was like looked like vintage Jeff Teague.
He looked like 2015 Jeff Teague.
We were not gonna say that anymore. But let's talk about Game 6 in Milwaukee. Tough place to win.
Yeah.
The Hawks did it, but they only did it once. So let's talk about how they can win this series, how the Suns can win this game, what the Bucks need to do to stop the Suns from winning this game and take the series. Let's get a game plan for each team. Let's talk about the Suns first. What do the Suns have to do to win this game? What do the Suns have to focus on offensively and defensively in order to take this game to 7, take this series to 7?
All right, number one, offensively, you cannot have the offense running through Devin Booker ISOs. Through this whole dribble drive, Devin Booker, let me get a mid-range just from like the elbow or try to go in for some circus shot. No, you can't do that. You need to maintain the offensive rhythm that you kept that got you there. Chris Paul needs to be bringing the ball up. The shooters need to be in their spots. Booker needs to be able to create when given the opportunity, but he shouldn't be ISOing every time. So keeping that offensive rhythm, going back to your roots, going back to the old school rhythm that you had going into the finals will be excellent. Second, offensive rebounds, like you said, DeAndre Ayton, probably the biggest dude on the court when he's playing, and one of the most impactful guys on the court. Monty Williams played him 45 minutes last game, and the Suns plus minus was like minus 10 in the 3 minutes with Ayton off. So Ayton needs to continue his dominance, and he needs to be more aggressive on the offensive glass to get those second chance opportunities. I know there's Lopez, I know there's Giannis, it's a pretty crowded paint, but if he can win just 50% of the ones that he's not winning, that will be huge for Phoenix. Because these games have been close. It's not like Milwaukee's blown them out all 3 games. Defensively, really lock down on Middleton. Have guys like Jay Crowder, Mikal Bridges guarding Middleton, especially in late game scenarios. And we've said this so many times, but if the role players cook, the whole team cooks. Bobby Portis can't be making 2 threes a game. Pat Connaughton can't be scoring 14 points a game. So just locking down on the role players, let Giannis do what he needs to do, because that's not going to change. He's been just a consistent driving force. He's going to get 25 plus, 10 plus rebounds, 5 plus assists. That's a given. But if you can minimize what you control, like Middleton's production, like Holiday's production, like Portis's production, Lopez's production, it will really go a long way for the rest of the team. So I think those are probably the 2 biggest things for the Suns. From Milwaukee, don't let it get in your head. You have the home crowd to your advantage. Just play as hard as possible exploit the Suns' weaknesses, try to let them take those ISOs, be aggressive in the paint, draw fouls, and just continue what you've been doing. But a game, even if this goes to Game 7, it will be Game 7 in Phoenix with Phoenix's win under their belt from Game 6. So this is a must-win game for both teams. Obviously, Milwaukee fans or Wisconsin fans have seen a lot of heartbreak, especially Packers fans. So a lot of them are Bucks fans.
Yeah.
And when's the last time an Arizona sports team has been in the finals? Oh, the
It'd be that
Cardinals
Cardinals team.
back in 2009. And that was
Against the
kind of
Steelers.
like, yeah, that was like a little Cinderella story against prime Mike Tomlin, prime Big Ben. So this would be big for both cities. So Milwaukee, get your fans hyped because this is another one of those situations for where I doubt they'll be in the situation again, especially with a healthy Brooklyn team next year.
Yeah, I'll echo some of those opinions, but what I really want to harp on what the Suns need to do, what they did so effectively in the regular season was an equal distribution of points, equal usage of every player. In the finals, it's been just Devin Booker. I mean, Devin Booker's been incredible, but he scored 2 points in the Game 4 fourth quarter. Two of his 42. But I mean, that's technically four, but one of them came when the game was already over, so I mean that doesn't really count. So I mean, 2 points when it mattered. But what you need to do is these role players have been on fire. Mikal Bridges was 5 for 5 at one point last game. Jay Crowder was cooking from 3 the last 2 games. Jay Crowder has been incredible. You have wings that can score, that can shoot, and you need to understand that they need to be involved more in their offense because it's not about how many points Devin Booker can score, it's how efficient the team's shot can be. I know you can make a mid-range shot a lot, but there's someone who's open for a 3 with a much higher percentage shot. I know that you might have confidence in yourself, but it's always about finding the highest percentage shot. And sometimes that may not be you. So, dribble drive, great system. But don't always rely on the mid-range. The mid-range is just a way that you can kick it out. It's a tool to keep the defense honest. And the Bucks have been biting hard on the mid-range. I mean, that's why it's not been working, because they've been closing out super hard. And that's why someone else is going to be open. And as far as what I got to do against the Bucks defensively, I mean, don't let Chris Middleton shoot. That's pretty much it.
Or close out on him hard.
I don't trust the rest of that roster to shoot at a high clip. Drew Holiday is a solid shooter, but he is not someone that can make a shot
like Chris Middleton.
like Chris Middleton. And Chris Middleton can shoot in 0.2 seconds and splash it. Like Drew Holiday is a open shooter. If he's open, he'll make it. But Chris Middleton will make it no matter what the conditions are. So just play prevent defense. Like, don't allow him to get the ball. Like, if he has the ball, it's a dangerous situation. And definitely, you got to control the paint a lot better than you have been doing. DeAndre Ayton can't be the only person rebounding on the team. Like, the rebounding distribution for them has been pretty poor.
Well, they play fairly small, too.
They play very
Cam
small.
Johnson, with, like, a Cam Johnson or, what's his name? Jay Crowder at the 4. So, I don't know how much they'll help on the rebounding side, but just having them come in and maybe crash the glass will provide some intimidation for Milwaukee.
I mean, their second highest rebounder last night was 5 with Jay Crowder. I mean, in Game 4, the second highest rebounder was... Let me get the stats up. It was Jay Crowder with 8. Like, DeAndre Ayton has been doubling everybody's rebounding output. And he's been doing on the defensive end, not the offensive end. They got to get the second chance point because
offensive rebounds are the key to winning basketball games sometimes.
Because you can be the better shooting team, you can make every shot, but if the other team's missing and just getting the putback layup, I mean, it doesn't matter.
Yeah. So, Ayton in there crashing, Jay Crowder, because he averaged about 5 rebounds a game in the regular season, maybe putting in someone like Torrey Craig too, just another body you can have in the paint, or even guys like Frank Kaminsky, Saric, Cam Johnson, Etwan Moore. I'm just naming out names, but those are guys that I'd want to see in.
I mean, take some of the load off the players. Like, playing 40 minutes every night can take a toll on players for sure.
Yeah, 45 minutes for 22-year-old DeAndre Ayton. That
40
body
for Jay Crowder.
Yeah, like that's a lot. That's very overwhelming.
I mean, don't put Frank Kaminsky in, but like some of the other guys.
Frank.
So let's move on to some other topics. Damian Lillard has been in the headlines recently. It was Dame wants out, and then it was Dame doesn't want out. So let's talk about the situation. How was Portland structured? Can they win a championship there? What has to be done? And does Dame have to get out if he wants to win?
So I think first we should talk about this interview with Chris Haynes from Yahoo because it talks about some of the questions that you addressed, and I find this very interesting. I'm not going to read the full Dame quote, but let's see. My job was to make sure the team was functioning and trying to lead them to the best results. I've always assumed everybody's mentality was the same. Even when I'm playing well and we come up short at the end of the season, I go home and the first thing I do is look in the mirror and tell myself we didn't win a championship. Or if I didn't play well as I should have, I've had to look in the mirror and tell myself that my performance is unacceptable and I have to do better. Then you go do better. I think that's the stage we're at as a team, and where we all, not just me, just my teammates, not just our new coaching staff and the front office, everyone in this organization must look in the mirror because we've consistently come up short. And I think he's absolutely right. Losing to a depleted Nuggets team like that, where he was being the hero, they need to make some roster moves. They tried to go all in by getting guys like Robert Covington, Derek Jones, and that brought them some hype, but it really hasn't done that much for the team. So I think one big move that they'll have to make is trading CJ McCollum. CJ is a very undersized shooting guard. Yes, he can score, but there are so many other players on that team that can score. It is a terrible idea to have a defensive backcourt that bad, especially in the Western Conference, because you can get that exploited at any time.
I mean, just look at the playoff matchups. I mean, playoffs is all about matchups, about schemes, about trying to understand your opponent's weaknesses. And when you have a weakness as glaring as that, in the backcourt especially, that's something that any team can take advantage of, and has been taking advantage of for years now. I mean, they've had poor runs in the playoffs for the past couple of years. I mean, look at the New Orleans sweep, a team that's like won five or six playoff wins in their entire career or entire franchise history. Won 4 against you guys without you guys winning a game. Then
Drew Holiday cooked them.
And then you look at the other series, last 2 years against Denver. I mean, I can't even think of their runs in the playoffs because they've been so disappointing. I always think of that a couple moments against OKC. I mean, cool.
They've been so overhyped because of buzzer beaters.
You should not be winning games because of buzzer beaters. I mean, that's because you let the team hang around for that long.
Yeah, and I think CJ McCollum, as much as I like him, he cannot be the second star there. They need to do some kind of trade. So I've seen a lot of these rumors. What do you think about Ben Simmons there?
It's an interesting fit. His defensive ability would be something that would be incredibly valuable because he can play the 4. He can play the 3, he can play the 2, he can play the 1. He is a great option and a great facilitator. I think that his lackluster ability at shooting is a very easy fit there because they've got so many players that can shoot the ball. And honestly, you could probably keep. I mean, I don't know about the logistics of a trade, but if you were to keep the backcourt together, I don't think it would be that bad of an idea, because if you look at it holistically, McCollum, Lillard, and Simmons could coexist in a backcourt very effectively, and Simmons could occupy the front court as well. But
yeah,
I think that somehow, if you manage to keep all 3 of those guys in a trade, that would be an ideal situation for them because they have Nurkic, who is I like Nurkic. He's a great offensive weapon, but he's not great defensively. I mean, you tried to bring Hassan Whiteside in to get some defensive presence because of his shot blocking ability, but he's dreadful. But they've tried so hard to get defensive help, and it just hasn't worked. I think Ben Simmons would be a good fit there. I don't see the fit with Golden State though. Like that's an idea where I just don't think that jives with their identity. But Portland, I could see that working.
Portland, I can definitely see Ben Simmons, especially over Golden State. Now Lillard, he doesn't believe that the Blazers as constructed can contend.
I mean, he's right.
Yeah, he's totally right there. There is a increased sense of urgency to improve the situation. So Portland will definitely have to make a big splash, especially come draft night. And he does expect to be in Portland next season. So Ben Simmons, can you see like a draft night trade involving Simmons and maybe McCollum or some of their other assets like maybe Norman Powell, some picks, Anthony Simons. Can you see something like that?
I could see it, but I think it would have to involve McCollum because, man,
Yeah,
McCollum would be awesome in Philly. He
he'd be
would be
great.
really awesome in Philly. I mean, that's something that I really want to see. He could having him as a the focal point of a backcourt is something we haven't really seen in his career. And
Like you saw how Seth Curry cooked. Imagine how CJ McCollum cooks.
I mean, I think that would be a scary team, a very scary team. I think
I mean,
McCollum could easily average 20, 28, 29 with Philadelphia. And he's a perfect complement to what Joel Embiid can do offensively. I mean, their skill sets really harmonize compared to what Ben Simmons can do. If you can do a like for like trade, I know the ages don't align, the contracts are pretty similar. I mean, yes, he's older. Yes, you're probably giving up a little bit of value because Ben Simmons is someone who can be great, but he doesn't put the work in to be great. He's had 6 years, his whole life to develop a shot. If you pay millions of dollars for a biomechanics, hours in the gym, and you can't get your free throw percentage above 50%, you are not working. Because anyone, I can tell anyone to go in a gym for 5 hours straight for an entire week, and after a week, then get the free throw percentage above 50%. Like, if you work on something consistently, you watch your form back, you look at where your weaknesses are, and you recognize that you have a problem and you need to fix it, you can do it. But he is
this
not
is his
recognized.
livelihood.
Yeah, you're being paid 25, 28 million a year, and you recognize it's your weakness, and you refuse to work on it. You say you're not going to the Olympics, or you're not going to the Olympics because you want to work on your form. No, you're not. You're going to come back next season, take 1-3 in 5 games, miss it, and never shoot again, and like make 2 free throws and think, oh wow, I've solved it. But no, he doesn't put the work in. So I would be so scared to trade for Ben Simmons because a player that talented that doesn't work. I mean, as the old adage goes, hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard. And he's just talent that doesn't work hard.
Wow, you really ripped into Ben Simmons.
He's had a whole lifetime to fix a shot and he can't do it. I mean,
Yeah, no, I get it. And I think a lot of it is mental, but there's counseling, there's therapy. You can find there's some resource in the basketball world that you can definitely afford to get you there.
and you know what
But
the
I
best compliment is? Seeing the ball go through the net. So just do that repeatedly. If you know you can shoot, you can shoot. So
try shooting righty because you're right hand dominant. And that's what you did in high school. And that's what led you to become the number one recruit because you wouldn't have been the number one recruit without a jump shot.
oh my god, I can't believe
But
people actually think you shoot with the wrong hand. Like that should not be a conversation that people think that you were shooting with the wrong hand.
well, no, he is
He
shooting with the wrong
is, but
hand.
like,
He
how does
is.
that happen? How does it happen that an NBA player is shooting with the wrong hand?
Like I can't. I tried shooting right. I'm left-handed. I tried shooting right-handed. Couldn't do it.
I can't either. If I
I
shoot
tried
lefty,
to
it's
shoot.
an air ball every time.
Tried shooting elbow jumpers. It hit a dude in the head. But yeah, that's why.
I mean, we both love Ben Simmons, though. We both thought he would be a candidate for Defensive Player of the Year. I mean,
Well,
we love his
yeah,
talent. We love his defensive ability.
that's player of
But
the year candidate.
if he doesn't work,
I was,
he's going to be Jamarcus Russell. I mean, like, he's just, if he doesn't work, doesn't matter.
yeah. Look at Wiggins didn't want to work hard. Look what happened to him. And look at guys like Jaylen Brown, Jimmy Butler, guys that put in the time. Look at them now. They are getting paid big money. Everyone wants them. Everyone loves them. They rarely get any slander anymore. So that's what you want. You don't want. Wait, shouldn't you shoot with your other dominant hand?
Try it at least. I mean, you got to be
Like,
like,
yeah, like I'm a 17-year-old high schooler who has not played organized basketball in 2 years and just plays pickup runs at the Y. And even I've pointed this out and could tell you that. Is there any drop of self-awareness? You know what I mean? Like
yeah. I mean, that was a bit of a tirade. Ben Simmons could easily, if we played 1-on-1, it'd be 21 and nothing. I mean, he is
yeah.
a great player, but he should be so much better. And that's where my it's not a criticism because I don't like the player. It's a criticism because I know what he can be. and he is nowhere near it.
Yeah, like this is a guy that's drawn LeBron comparisons. So
I mean, a lot of players have, but
a lot of players have, but there's talent. LeBron has called him the prince to his king. So there's something there, but it can make you I can see it makes you aggravated when you see a player with all this talent and potential just doesn't live up to it, doesn't have that work ethic or self-awareness. But Philly has opened up conversation for Simmons. They want an all-star caliber player, and they've declined a lot of trades just because they haven't met up to their asking price. And it's very interesting. Simmons' value is at an all-time low right now after a
it's a bad
terrible
time to sell.
playoff series. It's like, would you sell a stock after it's gone down like 8%? No.
Are you selling
So,
Bitcoin right now? I mean, no.
yeah, no. So, how much do you want to pay for what I see as a supersized role player? A really, 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 really good role player. And he's locked up until 2025, which is one plus. He's turning 25 this month, another plus, given his age. But how much are you willing to pay for a guy that is more or less of like a more athletic, a more glorified Draymond Green type player? A guy whose position we haven't really solidified yet. A guy who's been shooting with the wrong hand for 6 years. So we'll definitely need to see that. But I do like CJ McCollum there. Philly needs to target some kind of shot creator, some kind of big scorer, and McCollum can definitely be that guy. We saw how Seth was cooking up in the playoffs, especially against Atlanta, and McCollum can do that on a wider scale. And one more thing before we get into some other topics like the Olympics, I want to talk about Colin Sexton. So I'm a big fan of Colin Sexton, but he is a small guard, a guy that basically played point guard all his life until they drafted Darius Garland. And his playmaking is not great, and he's been abysmal on defense. But he's a really good scorer, and he's athletic with potential. So, what kind of. He's a great player, but he's also a risky player. How much do you want to pay for a 6'1", 6'2" guard that's probably going to play shooting guard for you that can't really do much outside of scoring? Because at least guys like Levine, Mitchell can make plays for their teammates and are not total negatives on defense. So I really like Sexton. It just has to be the fit. He needs to be in an organization with the right fit that can harness his defensive potential and or that can mask his abysmal defense now, but needs some kind of scorer creator. And I'm gonna go with what everyone's been saying. I agree with this. New York, man. Elfrid Payton in the
The
playoffs.
GOAT.
Yeah, that was just no. They need a lot of help in the half court set. Sexton is great with that. He can score off of anything. He was a 24, 25 points per game scorer. And he needs to get in New York, prove his worth, because he's eligible for a 5-year, $168 million extension, but I don't think you should get that yet. So, New York, already on a playoff team that needs offense with a great defensive identity, he can really prove his worth there. So, I'd like to see him alongside RJ Barrett, Julius Randle up in the Big Apple. What do you think?
Yeah, I think you're not giving enough credit on the defensive end. I mean, he's improved year on year defensively. I mean,
Yeah.
he is a net zero player off currently, block plus minus. He's a negative 1.9 blocks plus minus on defense, positive 1.9 on offense. I mean, his defensive win share is positive. I mean, he's not good. Don't get me wrong, but he's not like Trae Young. Like,
Yeah.
he's serviceable, and he's got intensity on defense that I really admire. I mean, when he's coming out, you talked about his defense. I mean, that was something that we talked about, is like that mentality he has. I mean,
He
he
has
doesn't fear
potential.
anyone.
He doesn't fear anyone. He's athletic. And it's more his on-ball defense that needs the most work.
Mm-hmm.
If you're in a system like New York where he'll be moving around a lot, where he'll be playing a lot of off-ball too, you can mask that weakness and let him grow. But if you're just making him go head on with guys like Trae Young, Zach LaVine, Donovan Mitchell, that's where it gets tough.
Yeah, and as for the price, I think Cleveland making the right move here.
Mm-hmm.
Risking your financial flexibility going in the future for someone like Colin Sexton who's shown he can score on an elite level but hasn't shown he can play at an elite level yet. It's a smart move because currently he doesn't deserve the contract he's asking for. He's going to be a free agent. Getting value for him rather than being tied up long term and being tied to that mediocrity is kind of something that is a wise move if looking at the cash perspective. But looking at what teams could give up, I say maybe one or two firsts and something seems like a fair price. A team that I really would like to look at is New Orleans. I think this could be a perfect opportunity for them to ship off Bledsoe, to ship off a Steven Adams, and I think he would be a great fit in New Orleans. He played in the SEC in college. I mean, their defense can't get any worse, so it's not like it's an issue. Willie Green's coming in as head coach. We talked about that before, but it was a rumor. I was very happy when they heard that. Obviously, my first choice was Chauncey Billups, but he went to Portland. Good for them. Good move for them. But looking at his scoring ability, he can score. His shooting ability is pretty solid. He shot 38% through his career, a little bit lower last season, but that's because he was taking a lot more volume. Obviously, he takes around 4 threes a game. Something he can space the floor effectively. I mean, he's a solid shooter. I mean, his playmaking ability has not gotten there yet. I mean, a little bit lackluster, but I think he could be a good fit in New Orleans. I mean, can't get worse than Eric Bledsoe. So I think that if you pair him, I don't know if you pair him with Lonzo Ball. I don't know. Maybe he's the Lonzo replacement. Maybe you send Lonzo in a sign and trade somewhere, and you use those assets to get Colin Sexton. Would not be opposed to that. If you can get equal assets for Lonzo and Sexton, I would do that. Even though technically, I think Lonzo actually might be a better shooter at this point. I think, as crazy as it might sound, Lonzo might be a better shooter.
Then who?
Than Sexton.
No.
I watch a lot of Pelicans games.
I include like shot creation.
Yeah, I just meant like straight 3-point shooting.
Even then.
I mean,
Sexton
as a Pelicans fan, Lonzo either was like 5 for 5 or 0 for 5, and it was very fun to watch. And I don't know. I'm very impressed with what Lonzo did with this. Not to go with the Ben Simmons tirade again, but I mean, look at Lonzo Ball. Couldn't shoot. Really worked on it, and now he's got a serviceable jumper. Average to above average. Just say it. Just say it. I mean, his form was awful. His form was like Ben Simmons levels of. I mean, Ben Simmons' form wasn't that bad, but I mean, like he worked on it. He improved his shot. Got a trainer.
Ben Simmons needs to take a page out of Lonzo's book.
Send him to New Orleans or send him to where Lonzo Ball's going to go. Get a good lesson in. Send him to Miami. I thought that would be a good idea. Get Jimmy Butler to yell at him every day.
Yeah, or just
or that would break him. That one of the two.
Actually, no wait. Jimmy Butler and Ben Simmons again. No, Jimmy Butler will punch this man. Jimmy Butler will go to jail because of Ben Simmons.
I don't know. It might be good for him. He had more confidence than Jimmy Butler. He didn't shoot a single shot, but he was better in the mid range.
Yeah, like he was. No, Jimmy Butler will make that man cry.
He needs it. Ben Simmons needs it.
Yeah, he needs a good cry. Everyone needs a good cry. USA basketball. Let's move on to there. So, I kind of expected closer games. Like, it's not like we're gonna blow out teams by 100 anymore, but I did not expect it to be this bad, and I think it makes sense. This is a very poorly constructed roster, in my opinion. For example, I'd say the biggest thing is Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine's a great player, don't get me wrong. Excellent scorer. But do you need another 25, 30-point per game scorer when you have Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant, and Devin Booker, who's going to play in the Olympics after the finals? Or should you get a guy that can play their role a little bit better, be more of an off-ball presence, be more of an off-ball playmaker, but be really good on the defensive end? For example, also Jeremy Grant. What can Jeremy Grant do that Kevin Durant cannot do? Clap on the bench. I think you said that. Or before we record a clap on the bench?
Warm the seats.
Yeah. So when I look at this team, there are definitely some players that I really like on here. Bam, KD, Lillard,
Jason.
Lillard, who?
Jason Tatum.
Jason Tatum, of course. I kind of like Keldon Johnson, JaVale McGee. They found the right player archetype, but maybe the wrong player. You
Yeah,
understand what I mean?
they could have had so many better players than JaVale McGee. I mean, the fact JaVale McGee is technically supposed to represent one of the top 15 U.S. basketball players is
Yeah,
a dismal sight. I mean,
yeah.
Zion, man, sign Zion up. All my Pelicans fans were so mad. They were so
Trey
mad.
Young, you need a playmaker here. You need a guy to orchestrate this offense.
Anyone, literally anyone over JaVale McGee.
Like this is just a very poorly constructed roster. They're very young. I think Durant, Draymond, Kevin Love. Yeah, Durant, Draymond, and Love are the only ones with Olympic experience. Totally different brand of basketball. There's more intensity, there's more defense, there's less ISO scoring, which is how a lot of these players get buckets in the NBA. And there is more of a team oriented approach. But you can't have a team oriented approach with Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, Jason Tatum, and Damian Lillard all sharing the floor at the same time.
No.
So yeah, they just got to fix their roster, and it just shows that more countries are investing in basketball. A lot of African countries, such as Nigeria, you saw Nigeria win. Australia has been investing heavily. A lot of the Eastern European countries, Slovenia, Serbia, even Bosnia Herzegovina, Lithuania, Latvia, all those countries there. And I think we'll see a bit of a boom in Asia too, with China, Japan, and hopefully India, man. We got to get that gold medal. You can find 5 players out of 1.6 billion.
Oh yeah, like that one video that the Chinese girl who's 14, 7'4".
I
Well,
don't I don't think she's 14.
no way, no way. But anyway, 7'4" is tall no matter what, no matter what the age is. But here's my thoughts. I am with the masses. There is no chance that this team, which granted it's not the best version of the U.S. men's national team, but it is a damn good team with
It's a very excellent team on
top
paper.
top 5 players at their position across the starting lineup. I'm now when I watch the games, I see why they're losing because the NBA has changed. It is played in a completely different manner than every other league, and even though there's other NBA players on the other national teams, they're the bench players. They have different mentalities than these stars do, and there's a compilations of NBA players in the Olympic team trying to get fouls. And I love these FIBA refs and these the refs in the international game because they let the players play. They let basketball happen. They don't have any of these ticky tacky. Oh, you touched him with your pinky finger 3 seconds into the shot release with zero point 0.2 seconds left to go. No, if you get fouled, you're fouled. But if it's like very borderline, they let the play go on.
No, they let it slide. I love it.
So what that would be a better team, honestly, a college team would be better than what this U.S. men's national team would be. Even though they're not as good, they will play with a better intensity. Like you can get the starting lineup of just grit. The grit and grind Grizzlies would be a better team than this. It's the star power's there, everything's there. This team should be smoking every country by 40 points on a night and eat McDonald's on the weekend like the 2012 and 2008 Olympic teams, but they aren't because this team does not have the mentality to win at an international level because the game is so different. It's so differently played. It's a whole new world. And this might be a reason why a lot of international players are not thriving right now because this game is completely different than what they're playing at an international level at the Euro League or their country league.
Yeah.
Because
And
basketball is basketball over there instead of whatever version we've got. I watched the NBA Finals after watching some U.S. games. I'm like, they called that a foul. Like, the anger I get watching all these ticky-tack fouls, like James Harden or Trey Young, literally, they see a guy in the air, no intention of taking a shot. They'll, like, contort their body so they get a foul. I hate that. I mean, I just want to watch some NBA players make shots. I don't want to see fouls. Free throw line, yeah, you win games with the free throw line, but I don't want to see you win games with the free throw line, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I get that. And I think you're absolutely right. Luca said defense was tougher in Europe than in the NBA.
And he's
And I can
100% right.
He's 100% right. This is why guys like Mark Cuban love seeing guys from Europe. They play the game in a tougher way. They don't hunt for fouls. They know how a proper defense works. They can play defense in a team. They can play cohesively as a unit. And this is why guys like Jokic, Giannis, Luka are such good playmakers. And this is why some of the best playmakers in the league are coming out of Europe, because that's how they're bred to play. So I think just across the world, we've seen international basketball rise, and we've just seen some great basketball, especially in Europe. And that's why I'm so high on Alperen Sengun, because I think if he can drop 18 points, 16, 18 points, and 8 to 9 rebounds in a tough Turkish league with gritty defense and stronger and guys that are playing stronger than they actually are.
Well, they actually are stronger than the U.S. guys. They are. They're
Yeah,
like men.
yeah,
They're not the athletes. They're just big dudes.
yeah. He can do that against like John Collins.
Yeah, exactly.
John.
I mean, the NBA, it's a lot more finesse than international basketball. And
Yeah.
sure, it's great television because the offense is electric, and it's I love watching the finesse based offense, but it's just not what basketball used to be. It's not what basketball is internationally, and I see why they're losing. Like, as much as I give the U.S. crap for having JaVale McGee, he is a great player for this team because he knows his role.
Exactly.
He
Yeah.
plays gritty, and he will be a great fit for this team. Like, if he plays minutes, he will be good. He will be better than 99% of the centers he's going to play. I mean, that's just
Already is. Yeah.
he is an elite level basketball player. As much as you give him crap, as much as you hate on him, he is what the team needs. Him and Keldon Johnson are great fits. Sure.
Johnson,
They-
6'5", pretty, plays bigger than he is, crashes for boards. I love Keldon Johnson.
Sure, they're not the all-stars. Sure, you can be like, oh, why is he representing the U.S.? But they will be more impactful than 99% of the team. They will be more impactful than Kevin Love, than Zach LaVine, even though they're better players, just because they have a different mentality. That's why I thought Zion would be a great fit, because he doesn't hunt for fouls. He's just a big dude that just dunks on anybody.
Yeah, he doesn't need to hunt for fouls.
He's just bigger than them.
Everyone, yeah.
He gets a lot of ticky tacky fouls, but he's not looking for them. He's just trying to dunk on you. I mean, that's just a different mentality. Like
Some of those fouls are intentional too. He's not the best free throw shooter yet.
no, he's not. That's like hack a Giannis, or hack a Ben Simmons, or hack a Shaq. I mean,
Yeah, Hack
that's
Hack
the
is
OG.
on. But one guy that I want to bring up, not on the U.S. but in Spain, Usman Garuba, a prospect that I'm higher on than you are.
I like
I will
Usman.
say-
What are you talking about? I just want to see him one more year.
Yeah, I will say defense. He's definitely NBA ready. He held Kevin Durant to only 14 points on 38% shooting from the field, 29% from three, no, 25% from three. So I want to give Usman that credit because he was like a plus 11 in the 14 minutes that he played in the USA Spain game. So big ups to Usman. And also, another thing that kind of flew under the radar was the U19 tournament, the FIBA one, where the U.S. narrowly lost to France, and the guy on France, Victor Wembanyama, dude, he looks like a better prospect than LeBron. I hate to say it, but I've never seen 7'3", 7'8" wingspan defensive savant, basically a savant, who can shoot some of the craziest jump shots on offense.
He looked incredible. I mean, wow, I was blown away with what he did. But LeBron was LeBron. We weren't alive to see the hype and to see him at his
I
St.
know.
Mary's days. So I think that we can't really testify to that. But of our generation, he definitely looks like the great.
Yeah, he looks
Cade
like-
Cunningham. I mean, he's 6'8" point guard, but this
Victor
looks like
Wembanyama.
he looks like a much more
Yeah,
well-rounded.
I like him more than
prospect.
Chet. I like him more than Cade. I like him more than even Amani Bates. I think he can be that guy. I like him more than DJ Wagner too. So, speaking of Cade Cunningham, just another thing that I've been seeing just around the NBA, something that I really just don't like, a possibility of Detroit trading down. I'm just gonna sum it up in 3 words. Don't do it. Cade Cunningham is far and away the best prospects in this class. Jalen Green, Evan Mobley are great. I like them a lot, but there's no reason to trade down. And you're never going to have a chance like this to draft a franchise changing, franchise identity defining player. So Cade Cunningham checks all the boxes for Detroit. He's exactly what they need. So I would be very disappointed if Detroit trades down.
Yeah, my philosophy on this is you've heard it every time. You can be a great team, you can have great players, but you need a starter to be a championship team.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in Detroit, I'm sorry, Detroit, there's just no chance anyone willing, like, you can offer the most money by like twofold, but there's no way you're gonna get someone to go to Detroit. I mean, it's Detroit. I'm sorry. I mean, the only Detroit and Cleveland, the only good players that you've had is because LeBron was born there and made a championship team there. Like, other than that, you're not gonna sell players and coming to
Can't
Cleveland,
have
Detroit.
things in Detroit.
Exactly, but I don't believe these rumors. I just think this is the Pistons doing their due diligence, being a smart franchise here. You should always listen to what other teams are going to do, and as vice versa as well. You should always listen to see how much it's going to cost to move to the number one spot. I just think this is them gauging the market, seeing where the market sits on that number one overall pick. I mean, every team, there's always a price for everything. So just seeing what that price is and understanding the options that you have is a much better play for an organization than just locking themselves into one solution and only looking at that one solution, because at that point you are completely isolating yourself from every other possible option, even though it might be a better one. So I wouldn't believe the rumors. I think Detroit knows that Cade Cunningham is their guy. I think they're doing their due diligence and gauging the market. Miami was trying to see how much it would take to get the Cincinnati Bengals to trade out Joe Burrow. I mean, the only time that it's ever been set in stone, no price could be set, is the Cavaliers. I mean, at lottery night, they had a LeBron James jersey. On lottery night. Like, that is the only time that you will ever see something so set in stone, you could offer 7,000 first-round picks and they would not take it.
Yeah, they shouldn't.
I mean, it's LeBron James, so I mean, it was kind of a no-brainer there. But
Yeah.
with someone like Cade Cunningham, I think you need to do the due diligence, see what the offers on the table are, and then make a decision. Because
Arizona did that for Kyler Murray a couple years ago.
every
They-
team should be gauging how much it's going to cost.
Yeah. Because if you can get a good price for something, just even in later rounds, later picks, it could be something to look at. But I think you think, everyone thinks, even Detroit thinks they're going to be taking Cade Cunningham. So
Don't think that this is some. Just because
Yeah,
there's
no.
a headline does not mean it's happening. Does not mean it's realistic.
yeah,
It's just how the market works. It's how the NBA works. It's how sports work.
welcome to Detroit, Cade. So
He probably wants that to be real. He's probably praying for those articles to be true.
yeah,
Please, anything but Detroit. I'll go to New Orleans. I'll go to Memphis. Please, just not Detroit.
we'll go to Memphis over Detroit. Yeah,
Of course you would. Memphis is an up and coming town. Detroit's Detroit. You can buy a house for like 3 cents. I'm dead serious though. Like
Detroit, you can buy that 56,000 square foot penthouse overlooking the Great Lakes and
it'd be
all
less than
the
like a
mansion
shack in New York.
factories for about 2.5 cents.
Yeah, exactly. Cleveland's number one selling pitch is that they're not Detroit. Like that's how bad it is. You know.
Yeah. Just in other news, the Euros happened. I come from a family of a lot of English people.
I was telling you post on the
Cousin.
Triple Threat Podcast Instagram link in the description. Yeah, it did kind of fumbled the bag there. It made us look like England fans. You know, I was cheering for Italy, man. Come on, I can't lump us into that.
I was just cheering for Italy just because I thought it'd be funny to see the rest of my family's reaction.
Also,
It was-
can't stand English fans.
I can't even all of my family, especially my dad. He's from England. He will tell you English fans are the most toxic, some of the worst fans. Just I've never seen a fan base where if you see a 19-year-old struggle like that in his biggest moment, where he shouldn't have been in that moment. to
Yeah,
be
Gareth
completely
Southgate should not put Bakayas in that kind of situation. That is on him
No.
as the fifth penalty taker. The
As
one.
the taker, the most important one.
Granted, looking at the options of that squad, there are at least half the roster are not taking a single penalty kick in their entire professional career. Like, looking at the situation, granted with their substitutions and what they did not set themselves up ideally for penalty kicks. Harry Maguire was their second most experienced penalty kick taker. That is something that you should never have. Slabhead should not be the second most experienced. I know he's got 14 spot kick, but Harry Kane and Slabhead were the only two players with marginal experience. Marcus Rashford had 14 penalties, but he's missed quite a few, so he was actually up there. But granted, the most accurate on the team were a center back and one of the best strikers in the world. So that out of the way, their roster was not set up for that. Sancho had one penalty kick in his career. Bukayo, I don't think had any. Just a situation. Gareth should not have put their players in that situation. They were not ready.
Definitely.
You had options on the bench that were more experienced. Dominic Calvert-Lewin would have been a better option. Use a substitution late to get penalty takers on instead of going for that extra time goal. Because Pickford has been exceptional in the penalty shootouts.
He was going crazy, man.
I mean, he has been great. You've won games on penalty. You beat Colombia in the World Cup last year on penalty kicks. You beat someone else in penalty kicks. I mean, penalty kicks has been your kind of like your forte going forward. Like you won games on penalty kicks.
Did they beat Denmark?
They beat Denmark no, they just beat Denmark like four. They got thrashed Denmark. It was,
Even in like extra time, maybe. I don't know.
they kind of beat Denmark.
Yeah.
But there was another team in the World Cup I'm forgetting. But that was just not a great situation for them. You had much better options. I think I don't know what else I would have done. You had other strikers on the bench you could have brought on, and then even think about the situation proactively. You could have taken someone like James Ward-Prowse. God, I say this all the time, but he is the best spot kick taker in the entire world besides Lionel Messi, and sometimes better than Lionel Messi. Just saying. He was perfect from spot kicks for Southampton this season. Was their spot kick taker. Danny Ings is also good. There's a lot of options that you had that are great spot kick takers that you didn't take instead of taking 5 right backs, taking Ben White didn't play. I mean, you had so much depth at positions that you just didn't use, and that's my personal philosophy. Kieran Trippier would have done a great job of taking spot kicks because he would have been a great penalty taker. Let's talk about the game though, because Italy were outclassed them. Jorginho has been the player of the tournament. I don't care, Donnarumma, whatever you won the award, but Jorginho has been great. This game was really outclassed by the Italians. They really showed their might and their finesse through they played it great. Hands off to Mancini, done a great job. He is definitely the best manager in international football.
For sure.
He had a little bit of a tough time after winning the championship with Man City in 2012, but he's bounced back, and this was the job he needed. He really needed to prove himself, and I think he should stay at Italy at least for the next World Cup, and then see what the tables have for him. Chiellini and Bonucci have been great from the back. Shambal Spinazzola tearing his Achilles, but the rest of the team. Federico Chiesa has been exceptional. I did not see this at Juventus or Fiorentina from him in the past. Something that I didn't expect from him. He hit another level in this tournament. Really, really it impressed me. But their attacking strike force. I mean, Ciro Immobile is not a great striker. Andrea Bellotti was not great. The striker situation in Italy is something that I think they could have taken advantage of more. England, perhaps. But I think one of the things that I didn't expect in this whole Euros, just looking at it holistically, looking at that group of death, Germany, France, Portugal, not having a single one of them make it past the first round was something that just I think no one expected. And I think that was something that I would have had at least one of those teams in the finals. At least Portugal or France. And even Germany is a dark horse. But hats off to both England and Italy. They play exceptionally. Italy beat a aging Belgium team who have 2 great players in De Bruyne and Lukaku, but that defense, when you're having either Vertonghen, Alderweireld, Thomas Vermaelen, or Boyata at center back, it's just not great to sign.
They're all like 32 plus, I want to say.
God, they really are. They all are. Denier's actually younger, but just not great. Only one out and out right back in Thomas Meunier. It's just not a great look as a roster. So definitely an aging team. As a Belgian fan, I'm quite disappointed, but I mean, as a small country as Belgium is, the fact that they have such a world-class team with such world-class players is something that they've been the top team in Europe for a couple of years now. And they beat Brazil. They were 3rd place in the World Cup, arguably. They lost to France, the champions, but you could say they were second best team that year. They've got one more chance with this team, with Lukaku and De Bruyne in their primes, with Hazard hopefully not fat and injury prone like he's been since he went to Real Madrid. Hopefully we can get Chelsea Hazard back. Don't think it's going to happen. With some promising stars like I forget his name. Is it Doku for he plays for I can't forget. I forget. I am definitely a bad soccer fan right now. Letting down all the soccer fans out here. But anyways, they've got a lot of good future coming in. Yuri Tielemans coming in from Leicester, from Monaco back in the day. I've been rambling about soccer for a bit. I'll let you take your opinions on the finals and the Euros as a whole, because we haven't talked about it much outside of that Rodden review.
Yeah. Just it was a great game. I will say that. I was on a plane watching it. Very entertained, and I just want to talk about some of the aftermath. Obviously, we know what happened with Saka, Rashford, and Sancho. Just totally unacceptable, and just something that really made me realize that England just did not deserve that.
I mean, I expected it. They're fans. I mean, they have fans about people's mothers. I mean, like they
like I expected it. I knew it was gonna happen, but it was just. Like, it's been going on for dozens and dozens of years now, and something they need to fix. Because then, some of those players, I think Saka, for example, are eligible to play for other countries.
Well, not anymore. I mean, once you've made your professional debut for a country, you are locked in.
Isn't it 3 caps, though?
It is, but I think he made 3 caps.
He's probably got more. But for even players in the future.
Yeah.
For players in the future.
Like look at Wan-Bissaka. I mean, he hasn't played a game for England yet. He's probably going to switch to DR Congo.
Yeah, he's excellent outside back. And then you have a lot of the French players too, because Kanté, Mbappe, some of the Algerian players, just a lot of guys that can go back to their home country. And I want to see that too. I really think that there's so much athletic talent coming out of Africa, and Europe kind of steals it, in my opinion, because a lot of, like, 3/4 of this French starting lineup could play for Algerian or West African. Same thing can go for England too. Some
Caribbean, a lot of Caribbeans for the English national team. Like Sterling could have been Jamaican. He was born in Jamaica, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah,
no,
Germany.
He was born in Jamaica, then moved to outside Wembley as a kid. I think. I could be wrong. Don't quote me. But his parents are Jamaican. I know that for sure.
Yeah, so there's a lot of talent. Yep, he was born in Jamaica. There's a lot of talent that's coming into these countries, so I want to see different countries from Africa, countries that I like Senegal, Nigeria, get their representation, get soccer back in the Caribbean. There are a lot of great athletic talents coming out of there. So it would be a lot of fun to see some of these younger guys who haven't made appearances yet go back to their original countries. So
yeah, it's an interesting idea. I would be all for it, but it's just the way the eligibility rules are. I think if your grandparents have nationality somewhere, you can take that country's nationality and claim it as your own. The only instance where I think it's a good thing is where players are from a nation. Look at someone like Wilfried Zaha, English national, was English player, didn't get the opportunity, and now he's going to play for the Ivory Coast. I mean, he's been playing for the Ivory Coast. Players who don't have the ability to play for a big nation, but then can transfer out and play for a smaller country. Like look like a Josh Okogie playing for Nigeria. But there's two sides to that coin. Like two of the best players for England, Declan Rice and Jack Grealish, Irish nationals. I think Declan Rice even played a game for Ireland. They all played through the Irish youth ranks, but they were so good. They're like, all right, I'll play for England because Ireland's not that good. So they switched nationalities and they played for the country. The France team, same way. Karim Benzema, Algerian. Like a lot of these players can play for different teams, but they play for it's kind of like a super league. They want to play for the best team, obviously, so they want to win a World Cup. I mean, I can't blame them, but it'd be more fun to see more parity amongst nations where you could see players playing for smaller nations having some more competitiveness. AFCON does not get enough attention as it deserves. I mean, you've got some players, but a lot choose to play for those European nations.
Yeah, because the way I see it, you have the South American countries, namely Brazil, Argentina. Then you have the European countries. You have England, France, Spain, Italy, Germany. Throw Belgium, Netherlands in there, and then Portugal too. And those teams in particular, maybe with the exception of Belgium at times, have just been so dominant. It's not really a World Cup anymore. It's which one of these 10 top teams that have been just pumping out players that are eligible to play for other countries will win this year.
I mean,
It's
yeah, exactly. I mean, you can pretty much choose who you can play for. I'm pretty sure most European nationals can choose from at least four countries. I mean,
yeah,
I might be stuck with just America, but I mean, that's just my nature, America. That's kind of the culture. But Europe is a lot more free flowing with immigration and stuff like that, and especially in the athletic world. It would be a lot more. I would really like to see more representation amongst smaller nations. I don't know if that's can be done through incentives or anything like that. End goal of European of international success is to win a trophy, and players will choose the country that they have the best shot at doing that with.
yeah, that's really it at the end of the day. I don't see Mbappe winning with Mali anytime soon,
No.
but it would be cool to see a guy like that repping Mali. It's good for the kids, it inspires them, and it brings publicity, it brings attention to a country that otherwise wouldn't get as much attention. But before we wrap this up, we have touched on music sometimes, but we haven't fully gone into it.
No.
If you don't know, I am a massive Kanye West fan. You're a Kanye West fan too, right?
I'm a Kanye West enjoyer. I wouldn't call myself a fan. I don't
You're a
listen to
Kanye
Kanye
West
that much, but
enjoyer.
I will listen to Kanye, and I
I gotta,
enjoy the
I
music.
might throw in a Kanye poster somewhere back here eventually. But Donda is finally dropping. I'm so excited.
Yeah, I got the inside scoop on that one. Was pretty cool. I have not said on the podcast yet. I work at Mercedes Stadium, so on a Saturday, they announced that a performer was coming. I knew it was either Drake, Kanye, or Migos. It was an album release event, so I thought it was going to be Drake, but then Donda dropped on us. I'm like, oh, okay, it's Donda. And then today it was finally announced. So I've known since Saturday who it was going to be. So that was pretty cool. He's going to be in Atlanta, listening party. I'm excited. This is either going to be the best album of all time or a cacophony of disaster to my ears. And I'm excited for either way because that makes it so much more of a anticipation of what this album could be.
Yeah. I'm really excited. There are some great features. There are guys like Travis Scott, he's featured there. Playboy Cardi is featured. Pusha T, always great to see him and Ye link up. Then you have some guys that are more in the underground scene. The Griselda record company, which features West Side Gun, Benny the Butcher, Conway. They're all on a track together. They're really good lyrical guys, kind of bringing back the old gangster rap style. And there are a couple of more mainstream artists.
Tyler.
Yeah, Tyler's on there.
I think who else?
Yeah, Lil Baby's on there too.
You're right.
I think so. So
I'm excited for Travis though. That should be the craziest.
think
That
it's
song is
Travis.
not a banger. Disappointment.
Yeah, that I think it's Travis and Cardi on the track. And when Kanye and Travis ever link up on a track, and when they're both producing together, because Travis is an excellent producer, he produced the Yeezus album with Kanye, did all the drums. They just make banger after banger after banger. So I am very, very excited.
Will you be going to Donda? Will you be listening live, or will you be skipping on that one?
Dude, I might. Are you gonna go?
They're paying me 18, so sure I'm going. I'm getting paid to go to watch this. I'm having a good time.
Can you sneak me in?
I can try. Don't show any of my employers this one. This is
I'll pay you more. That's the thing. I have Ticketmaster pulled up right now, dog. I'm ready.
Man, it will be a crazy event. They had a listening party in Las Vegas for a private crowd, 2,000. I have not heard the reviews from that one. I'm trying to like keep myself
great
spoiler
reviews.
free. I'm trying to be like not hearing anything. I want to be like just experience it. I just want to experience. I don't want any spoilers or anything. I just want to be like
Yeah.
not sit down because I'm working. Obviously, I'll be on the job, but I want to be like standing there, just taking it all in.
Yeah. There's never gonna be a moment like this. The one thing I've never been to a rap concert before. I've never been to a concert before, and having Kanye, my favorite artist, is my first one. That'd be crazy. So
Well, it's not a concert. It's a listening part. Like he's gonna be DJing and it's gonna be
he's
like a
gonna be
performance, but
DJing, but
he's not gonna be like singing. It's gonna be him playing his music.
have you seen that? Have you seen the Life of
Life
Pablo
Pablo
one?
and MSG. Yeah, I looked it up because I was.
And Kid
Yeah.
Cudi together with Father Stretch My Hands. Travis was there. Pusha was there. Young Thug was there. There was some unreleased music leaked there. So, and maybe next couple of episodes we can even pull off a Donda review.
Oh no, we are doing a Donda review. Friday. Friday will be a Donda review. At
We can do
at least I will. Well, I will already have heard it, but you know.
I will have already heard it, but like we can just kind of listen. We can have it like playing in the background. Oh wait, we'll get copyright. But
We don't make money, Ishan. We're fine. We're fine. But they
well,
can't take it down.
actually, we do make money if you donate to our Patreon.
That is
So
true.
check out the website, donate to the Patreon. That was a perfect plug moment right there. I had to.
But for sure, we will be covering Donda because this is
Yeah.
something that is very
This is monumental.
unprecedented. Because the funny thing is we had a team meeting on Saturday at the late night games. Like, oh, big news! A rapper with 6 days in advance from Atlanta has scheduled an event on Thursday. Still not published yet. 6 days in advance. Like, when do tickets go on sale on Monday for a thing on Thursday?
Only Kanye would do that. Only Kanye would do that.
That was kind of why I thought it was Kanye, because you know Kanye's kind of like Drake would too.
Drake might do it, but like
Kanye,
that's
it's
Drake-
Kanye. It's on brand for Kanye. I was also
That is
thinking it was Lil
Kanye.
Baby when they said it was an Atlanta artist, but then I got it. It wasn't. But you know,
Because Kanye was born in Atlanta. His mom.
I actually did
taught
not know that one. Like I found out about that one. Actually, that's why I say I'm an enjoyer. I'm not a fan. A fan would have known that.
A fan would know that. But this could either be like some My Beautiful Dark Twisted Fantasy 2, or this could be like my initial reaction to Whole Lotta Red. So I'm hoping for option A, but we'll have to see.
Thursday night, Atlanta.
Thursday night, Atlanta. Stay tuned for the Friday episode because there's going to be a lot to talk about. I can tell you that.
Do you know when
So-
the album's like officially dropping though? Has he said that yet or no? It's still. It's got to be Friday. It's got to be Friday or Saturday.
Yeah. God.
Because the listening party will be before the album drops. presumably.
Yeah, the listening party. Yeah, I
Alright,
think
okay,
he'll
so,
release.
I'm gonna after this. I'm gonna look up when Life of Pablo came out. And I'm gonna look at the date of the listening party. And
The listening party. Okay, yeah, that's smart.
I think that'll be a good indicator. But anyways, Ishan wants to sign us off for today. We'll be back tomorrow.
Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We'll have some things to talk about before Game 6. Really excited for that. And just stay tuned. We have some content coming up on Instagram, the website, Twitter, and maybe even some stuff on Patreon if we get into it. So just stay
We'll
tuned.
get some draft guides, fantasy, basketball. Also, unfortunately, we will not be doing a live NBA draft thing because of Donda. So,
Wait, what do you mean?
isn't that a draft on Thursday?
Dude, the draft's on the 29th.
I thought it was on the 21st. Or 20,
Um,
whatever. I thought it was on Thursday. It could be next Thursday, actually.
Yeah, I think it is next. It is next Thursday.
All right, I was paying attention. I thought I saw Thursday 22nd on some
Oh,
NBA
Thursday
post.
29th.
And
So,
I was like, oh, well, sucks, Kanye.
but definitely stay tuned for that. The way we're gonna do it is you guys will be able to call in, give your input, and we'll have the draft going live. We'll just be talking completely live, completely unscripted. It'll be a lot of fun. I've been wanting to do an episode like this for so long. Will has too. So definitely stay tuned for that. And with all of that, all of the information that we've brought to you today, this is the 47th episode of the Triple Threat Podcast. I'm Ishan Cheth. Alongside me, as always, Willie Zell. And that's the episode. Peace.
Idea.